perfect wisdom. With the divisions of the Abhisamilakra. Translated by Edward Conze. University of California Press, Berkeley, Los Angeles, London. Translation of the Sutra. Chapter 19, Surpassing. 0. The progress which consists in going forth. Why the great vehicle is so called. Subhuti. The great vehicle is called a great vehicle. Surpassing the world with its gods, men, and asuras, that vehicle will go forth. That is why it is called a great vehicle. It is like space. As in space, so in this vehicle there is room for countless beings. In this way is this the great vehicle of the bodhisattvas, the great beings. Just as one can see no coming, going or abiding of space, so one cannot get at the coming, going or abiding of this great vehicle. Just as one cannot get at the beginning of space, or its end, or its middle, on account of the sameness of the three periods of time, so also with this great vehicle. That is why whyone speaks of a great vehicle. The Lord. So it is, subhuti. This great vehicle of the bodhisattva. The great being, consists in the 6 perfections, in all dharani-doors, all concentration doors, the 20 kinds of emptiness, the applications of mindfulness, etc. 2. The 18 special buddha-dharmas. 0. The program of going forth. 0a. Going forth to the highest possible state. Sariputra. When again Subhuti has said, surpassing the world with its gods, men, and asuras, that vehicle will go forth. What then is the world with its gods, men, and asuras? The world of sense desire, the world of form, the formless world. If the world of sense desire, the world of form, or the formless world were suchness, not falseness, unaltered suchness, if they were the unperverted, true reality, that which is as it really is, the permanent, stable, eternal, not liable to reversal, existence, and not non-existence, then that great vehicle would not go forth, after having surpassed world with its gods, men, and asuras. But because the world of sense desire, the world of form and the formless world have been constructed by thought, fabricated from fictions and feigned, because they are not as reality really is, but entirely impermanent, unstable, not eternal, liable to reversal, and non-existence, therefore this great vehicle will go forth, after having surpassed the world with its gods, men, and asuras. And this holds good not only of the triple world, but the same formula should be applied to the skandhas, the 20 kinds of emptiness, the dharma element, suchness, the reality limit, the unthinkable element, etc. 2. The applications of mindfulness, etc. 2. The buddha-dharmas. 0b. Going forth, which consists in forsaking the stages, the fruits of a holy life, from stream winner to Buddha, the world with its gods, men, and asuras. 0c. Going forth, which leads to achievement. And the thoughts which a bodhisattva produces form the first thought of enlightenment up to his arrival at the terrace of enlightenment. If the adamantine cognition were an existent and not non-existent, then the bodhisattva would not, having known all defilements and their residues as non-existent, reach the cognition of the all-knowing which is furnished with the best of all modes. But he reaches it because the adamantine cognition is non-existent and not an existent. If the 32 marks of a Superman which the Tathagata possesses were existence and not non-existent, then the Tathagata would not outshine the world with its gods, men, and asuras with his splendor and majesty. But he outshines it because the 32 marks are non-existent and not existence. And the same applies to the light with which he irradiates countless world systems. If the Tathagata's voice, which has 60 special qualities, were an existent and not non-existent, then the Tathagata would not make his voice resound through countless world systems in the 10 directions. But he makes it resound because it is non-existent and not an existent. If the Tathagata's wheel of Dharma, with its 3 revolutions and its 12 spokes, were an existent and not non-existent, then the Tathagata would not have turned this wheel of Dharma which cannot, with justice, be turned by any recluse, Brahman, God, Mara, Brahma, or anyone else in the world. But he has turned it because it is non-existent and not an existent. If the beings for whose sake the Tathagata has turned the wheel of Dharma were existence and not non-existent, then surely he would not have led those beings to nirvana. In the realm of nirvana which leaves has turned the wheel of Dharma are non-existent and not existence. Therefore beings have been led to nirvana, are being led to nirvana, and will be led to nirvana. 0. Sameness. Sariputra. As subhuti, you have said, the same as space is this vehicle, so it is. The same as space is the great vehicle. For these are the features which they have in common. The 10 directions are inconceivable of them. They are not long or short, round or square, even or uneven. Not blue, yellow, red, white, crimson, or crystalline. Not past, future, or present. No decrease, increase, or loss can be conceived of them, no defilement or purification, no production, stopping, stability, instability or alteration of stability. They are not wholesome, unwholesome, or indeterminate. They are not seen, heard, known, or discerned. They are not cognizable or uncognizable, not discernible or comprehensible, not to be realized, forsaken or developed, not karma results or liable to lead to karma results. They are not included in the world of sense desire, the world of form, or the formless world. They are not with or without greed, with or without hair, with or without delusion. In them there is no first thought of enlightenment, no second, etc. 2. No 10th. None of the stages and none of the fruits. They are not material or immaterial, definable or undefinable, resisting or non-resisting, conjoined or disjoined. Not permanent or impermanent, at ease or ill, self or not self, lovely or repulsive, empty or not empty, with sign or signless, with wish or wishless, calm or uncalm, isolated or unisolated. And in both of them there is no light or darkness, both cannot be seized or apprehended, and in both of them there is no utterance or non-utterance. In these ways is the great vehicle the same as space. 0. The activity for the wheel of beings. As again subhuti you have said, as in space, so in this vehicle there is room for immeasurable, incalculable, and innumerable beings, so it is. And why? Because from the non-beingness of beings should the non-beingness of space be known, and form the non-beingness of space should the non-beingness of the great vehicle be known. In this way there is in this great vehicle room for immeasurable, incalculable, and innumerable beings. And why? Because what the beings are, and what space is, and what the great vehicle is, all that is not got it. Moreover, from the non-beingness of beings should the non-beingness of space be known. From the non-beingness of space should the non-beingness of the great vehicle be known. From the non-beingness of the great vehicle should the non-beingness of the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable be known. And why? Because, what the beings are, and what space is, and what the great vehicle is, and what is the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable, all that is not got it. Moreover, from the non-beingness of beings should the non-beingness of space be known. From the non-beingness of space should the non-beingness of the great vehicle be known. From the non-beingness of the great vehicle should the non-beingness of the unconditioned be known. From the non-beingness of the unconditioned should the non-beingness of the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable be known. From the non-beingness of the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable should the non-beingness of all dharmas be known. And why? Because what the beings are, and what the Tathagata is, and what space is, what the great vehicle is, and what the unconditioned is, what is the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable, and what all dharmas are, all these are not got it. Moreover, from the non-beingness of self and beings should be known the non-beingness of being, soul, person, personality, individual, man, youth, doer, feeler, begetter, and of one who sees. From their non-beingness should be known the non-beingness of the reality limit and of the unthinkable element. From their non-beingness should the non-beingness of the immeasurable, the incalculable, the innumerable be known. From their non-beingness should the non-beingness of all dharmas be known. From their non-beingness should the non-beingness of all dharmas be known. And why? Because none of these is got it. And the same should be done with the skandhas, etc. The 6 perfections, the 20 kinds of emptiness, the applications of mindfulness, etc. 2. The Buddha-dharmas, the stages, fruits, etc. 2. The knowledge of all modes. Just as in the nirvana element there is room for countless beings, so also in this great vehicle. It is in this sense that in this great vehicle, as in space, there is room for immeasurable, incalculable, and innumerable beings. 0. The absence of exertion. Again, as Subhuti has said, of this great vehicle no arrival, departure, or abiding can be seen, so it is. And why? Because dharmas do not move about. They do not go anywhere, do not come from anywhere, do not abide anywhere. Because the essential original nature of form, etc. does not come from anywhere, nor go to anywhere, nor abide anywhere. And that is true of all dharmas. 0. Beyond the extremes. Again, as Subhuti has said, of this great vehicle no initial limit is got it, no final limit, no middle. Self-identical in the 3 periods of times is that great vehicle. That is why it is called the great vehicle, so it is. And why? Because the past period of time is empty of the past period of time, the future empty of the future, the present of the present. The sameness of the 3 periods of time is empty of the sameness of the 3 periods of time. The great vehicle is empty of the great vehicle, the bodhisattva empty of the bodhisattva. But emptiness is not 1, not 2, not 3, etc. 2. Not 10. That is why owing to sameness of the 3 periods of time this vehicle of the bodhisattva, the great being, is self-identical. But therein one cannot apprehend the same or not the same. Greed or dispassion. Hate or its absence. Delusion or its absence. Conceit or its absence. The wholesome or unwholesome. What has outflows or what has none. What has blemishes or what has none. Defilement or non-defilement. Extinction or non-extinction of defilement. The worldly or the supramundane. Defiling or purification. Samsara or nirvana. Permanence or impermanence. Ease or ill. Self or not self, calm or uncalm, the world of sense desire or the transcending of the world of sense desire, the world of form or its transcending, the formless world or its transcending. And why? Because the own being of all that cannot be apprehended. Past form, etc. is empty of past form, etc. And so is future, and present form, etc. And why? In emptiness one cannot get at past, future or present form, etc. The very emptiness, however empty, cannot be got at in emptiness, how much less past, future and present form, etc. One cannot get at the initial limit of the perfection of giving, etc. Nor at its final limit, nor can one get at it in the present, owing to the sameness of the periods of time. Nor can one get at the past, future, or present period of time in the sameness of the periods of time. The very sameness even cannot be got at in the sameness. How again could one, in sameness, get at the past, future, present perfection of giving, etc.? And what is true of the perfections, that holds good also of the applications of mindfulness, etc. 2. The Buddha-dharmas. Moreover, the common people cannot be got at, in their initial limit, their final limit, or in the present, owing to the sameness of the periods of time. And why? On account of the fact that no beings can be got at. And that is equally true of disciples, pratyeka Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and tathagatas. It is thus that a bodhisattva, who has stood firm in perfect wisdom and has trained himself in the 3 periods of time, should fulfill the knowledge of all modes. This is of the 3 periods of time. Having stood firmly therein the bodhisattva, surpassing the world with its gods, men, and asuras, will go forth to the knowledge of all modes. 0. Attainment. 0a. Going forth to attainment. d. Attainment. The bodhisattva goes forth to attainment. Subhuti. Well said, O Lord. Well has the Lord taught this great vehicle of the bodhisattvas, the great beings. In the past period, the bodhisattvas, who have trained in this great vehicle, have reached the knowledge of all modes. Future bodhisattvas also, by training in this great vehicle, will reach the knowledge of all modes. And those bodhisattvas also who, in this world in all the 10 directions, are present in innumerable world systems, they, having trained in this great vehicle, do reach the knowledge of all modes. This therefore is the great vehicle of the bodhisattvas, the great beings, owing to the fact that they are the same in the 3 periods of time. The Lord, so it is, Subhuti, having trained in this great vehicle, past, future, and present bodhisattvas have reached the knowledge of all modes, will reach it, do reach it.